Hi and welcome. I'm trying to learn garden design. Today the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. And after we've done it, we're going to do standing yoga. And if you participate in the standing yoga, then it's at XJGOLSNK. This is part 2. We already had that the Hanging Gardens of Babylon were assigned to be built by Nebuchadnezzar II in Babylon. Do we have a date? 2,500 years ago. 2,500 years ago. And that was because his wife was missing the mountains of her Persian homeland, and so he built terraced gardens which were 100 meters high, surrounded by a 7-meter thick wall, 100 meters wide, 23 feet, 7 meters broad wall surrounded, and these were gardens and they were terraced, and there were marble staircases they are connecting these terraces, and there were these rows of arches over them. Okay, then the thing we were here with the flower beds. They had stone flower beds along each of the terraces. There were stone flower beds along the terraces, and they were filled with soil, with leaded soil. I don't know really what leaded soil. And they were filled with soil, and in them there were stone flower beds filled with soil along the lines of the terraces, and in them were grown exotic trees and shrubs. Trees, shrubs, flowers and creepers. Exotic trees, flowers, plants, shrubs. Exotic trees, flowers, shrubs, plants, creepers from all over the world. On the top terrace, a series of cisterns fed the fountains, waterfalls and streams which kept the Hanging Gardens watered. Okay. The water was raised from the Euphrates by pumps, probably Archimedean screws worked by slaves. Okay, and there were slaves operating. There were slaves operating the Archimedean screws, and with them from the river Euphrates. It was lying at the river Euphrates. Do we mention the other thing also? The palace thing? No, we don't want to mention it here. It is for biographyology. We're going to do the same text and multiple things. Now we're here for garden design, so we're not going to do it here. With the palace. And okay, there were slaves operating the Archimedean screws, and with them they were pumping the water from the river Euphrates, at which bank the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, these terrace gardens were lying, up to cisterns on the top of the terraces, and with them the waterfalls and streams and fountains. The fed. Okay. While we can spare a thought for the slaves whose non-stop labor irrigated them, there can be no doubt that the Hanging Gardens of Babylon must have been one of the most beautiful sights in the ancient world. Equally, there must have been a prodigious feat of architecture and hydraulic engineering, since considerable skill and ingenuity would have been needed to prevent the masonry from being undermined and weakened by the water which kept the gardens lush. And all this wonderful water had to be taken in consideration when the whole thing was built, as it was not undermining it or weakening the structure of the whole terraces. And we have it. For all its splendor, the new Babylonian Empire was short-lived. Only 22 years after Nebuchadnezzar's death, it fell to the Persian Emperor Cyrus the Great. Word of the Persian homeland. Semiramis. According to legend, his queen Semiramis missed the hills of her Persian homeland. Only 22 years after Nebuchadnezzar's death, it fell to the Persian Emperor Cyrus the Great, whose army entered the city without a struggle. The Hanging Gardens may have survived until the 3rd century before Christ, when they were described by a Babylonian priest, Berossus. But today, all that is left of them is the remains of a well and 1 or 2 arches. Remains of a well and 1 or 2 arches. That thing was 100 meters high. And all what's left is 1 well and 1 or maybe 2 arches. What do we have? The Hanging Gardens of Babylon were built 2,000 years ago on the assignment of Nebuchadnezzar II for his wife Semiramis because he was missing the hills of her Persian homeland. And these were now, to make it a mountain, terraces which were stacked on top of each other, and they were 100 meters high. Was there anything in the middle? So were we just at the sides we see some terraces, or was there something in the middle? Okay, 100 meters high. And was it out of wood and not out of stone? Here's a picture. It is not a photograph. It is the imagination of someone living over 2,000 years later. Okay, the Pernaunit, and it was surrounded by a 7-meter thick wall. Marble staircases led from one terrace to the other one, and over these marble staircases there were rose arches. There were arches out of stone built. And at the sides of the terraces there were stone floor beds filled with soil, so that plants could grow in them, exotic trees and profuse with exotic trees from all over the world. I'm saying it again and again because it's exotic, but it's not written here. Exotic trees and shrubs and flowers and creepers. All over regions, etc. From different regions. And there were slaves operating Archimedean screws and pumping with them from the Euphrates, at which bank the Hanging Gardens of Babylon were situated, up to the top of the building, where cisterns were, from which the waterfalls and fountains and streams were fed. And that is all. And all had to be done with great care. It had to be all built with great care, that not the water would be undermined or weaken the structure for all. And where is it now? All was the water in the end, and then binding and weakening the structure. Whatever. I have a second camera, and if we hurry, we might be able to make our little presentation about the appearance of the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. I'm just not saying names, but we'll make it in the title. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon. 2,500 years on the assignment of Nebuchadnezzar II, there were in Babylon, at the bank of the river Euphrates, these Hanging Gardens of Babylon built. And it was done for the wife of Nebuchadnezzar II, because her name Semiramis, because she was missing the mountains of her Persian homeland. And now Nebuchadnezzar II let these terraces built, stacked on top of each other, 100 meters high, surrounded by a 7-meter thick wall. And there were marble staircases leading from one terrace to the other one, and also arches out of stone above these marble staircases. And the sides of these terraces, there were these flower beds, these stone flower beds filled with soil, so that in them could plants and shrubs and trees grow, which were exotic and fruit. And there were then also slaves working and pumping from the Euphrates, from the river, with Archimedean screws probably, water up to the top terrace, where cisterns were, which were in them both water collectors, to fed from there out the streams, waterfalls and fountains to the whole Hanging Gardens. And that all had to be designed and built with great care, because it shouldn't happen that the water was undermining or weakening the whole structure of it all. And that is according to, I don't know by who, and I want to say Leonel Gregson. We had it a couple of times already. Leonel Gregson. That means we're going to do it again. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon. 2,500 years on the assignment of Nebuchadnezzar II, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon were built for his wife Semiramis, who was missing the mountains of her Persian homeland. And it should be a mountain, so it were terraces stacked on top of each other, where we were 100 meters high. And they were surrounded by a 7-meter thick wall, and with all at the bank of the river Euphrates. And these terraces were surrounded by stone flower beds and with soil in them, so that in them could grow exotic and profuse trees, shrubs, plants, and creepers. And there were marble staircases leading from one terrace to the other one, and over them were stone arches. And when there were slaves operating Archimedean screws probably, and they were bringing water up to the top terrace on which the stands were water collectors, so that from them the waterfalls, streams and fountains could be fed with water. And it all had to be built with great care and good work, so that it would not be undermined by the water and weakened the whole structure of it. And that is according to Lionel Galaxi's World of Wonders, page 15 and 16. I have to make that part, but I was not prepared. World of Wonders. Is it written here? Yeah, it's written here. World of Wonders, Lionel Galaxy. But we have it. I'm going to stop the camera. And it's almost the second one. That means we're having 4 minutes for you. If you were here for garden design and the hanging gardens of Babylon, you can go directly to the next part of garden design. We will do now the standing yoga. If you stay and participate in the standing yoga, if you stay and participate with the standing yoga, then it's the XJGOLSNK. Feet are together, and we're breathing in and letting the arms up, the eagle's wings. And breathe out the arms down. Again, in the arms down. And out the arms down. Again, in the arms down. And out, open up to the side. In the arms up. And out, open up to the other side. Fill the arms up. Out the arms down, draw the shoulder blades together. In the arms up. Out again, back. In the arms down. Bring the hands to touch and lean back. Again, in. And out and lean back. Again, in. And out, lean to one side. Again, in. And out, lean to the other side. In into the middle. Make an inch space between the feet. Breathe out to the side. Breathe in into the middle. Out and sink halfway down. Breathe in, come up again. Out, open to the other side. Breathe in into the middle. And out, but down. In and up. Feet together. Intertwine the fingers. Or cross your arms, intertwine the fingers. Reach high. Breathe in. Out, reach in front, out of the back. Breathe in the arms up. Out, cross the arms the other way around. Intertwine the fingers. Reach high. Breathe in. Breathe out, reach in front, out of the back. Breathe in the arms up. And out and onto the knees. The inch space between the feet again. Breathe in. And out and make a hell of the back. Again in. And out the belly of the back. Again in. Out a hell of the back. Again in. Out the belly. Into the middle. Now we come with the front back up, making the top backwards, shoulder. Now we're breathing in, lifting the arms up. And breathe out, bring the arms down on the sides and we're going down, the feet are standing. Breathe in, bend the right leg. Breathe out, stretch your left leg. Breathe in and change. Out, stretch your right leg. In and change. Out, stretch your left leg. In again, in. And out and stretch your left leg. Right leg. And now breathe in, lift the right hand up to the sky. Bend the left knee and look over the right shoulder to the right hand. Again in, arm down and both legs straight. Breathe again in, the left hand up to the sky. And out, bend the right knee and look over the left shoulder to the left hand. Again in and the arm down, left down. Now make a hand of space between the feet, shift the weight to the heels. And breathe in and go down. And out and come up. In and down. And out and up. Last time in and down. And out and up. Take hold on the elbows and gently swing from side to side. Now the feet together. Breathe in, come halfway up with straight back. Out and down. Again in, halfway up, straight back. And out and down. Breathe in, bring the arms over the sides up. Hands together and bring them down. Breathe again in, lift the arms up. And breathe out, lean back with the long arms. In and up. And out, lean again back. in and up, out the arms down, and breathe again in the arms up, and out and down, in and up, and out and down. And the last time breathe in, lift the arms up, bring the hands together to touch, and lower down to heart center. That was a fast standing yoga. I thank you very much, and until next time.